Okay, for chapter 2.2, frequency. So we start with radio frequency. What is radio frequency? So all radio-based communications use some form of modulation to transmit data. So to encode the data in the signal sent by AM or FM radios, mobile telephone and satellite television, some type of modulation is performed. So some type of modulation is performed on this radio signal lah, okay, when it's transmitted lah. So radio frequency or RF, okay, the communication start when radio wave are generated from an RF transmitter and picked up or heard by a receiver at another location. So we can imagine the wavelength by graph of sine wave ni lah, kan? Dia ada sine lah, sinus. Kalau dalam apa nama ADMET kan, kita belajar kan. Alright, so dia kalau satu frekuensi ni complete circle kan, cycle pula. Complete cycle. Satu ni adalah cycle. Ini satu and 1.5 lah kalau macam ni. 1.5. Okay, ketinggian kita punya yang peak ni kita panggil sampai ke tengah kita panggil amplitude. Bawah dah negatif. Kan? Bawah negatif. So wavelength adalah berapa degree. Kan? Macam ni kita tahu adalah 360 degree. Kan? Okay. Wavelength. So, 360 degree dia punya wavelength dia jarak ni lah. Clear? So selain daripada amplitude dengan wavelength, kita ada lagi measurement frekuensi. Sorry ya. And phase. So frekuensi dengan phase. So untuk frekuensi adalah complete cycle tadilah. Kan? Kiraan dia daripada hertz lah. Kan? Kalau chapter 1 kita tengok asal-usul history wireless tu ada hertz. Orang yang cipta, orang dapat apa nama measurement tu, letak nama dia lah hertz. Sekejap ya. Tak boleh. Mujuk online kan? Alright. Mata dah merah ni. Okay, frequency describe a behavior of wave. So how fast the waves travel, or more specifically, how many waves are generated over a 1 second period of time is known as frequency. Frequency is the rate of change with respect to time. Change in a short span of time means high frequency. Change over a long span of time means low frequency. So kita ada high dengan low. Kalau kata ikut bawah ni, kalau dia rapat-rapat kita panggil high frequency. Time dia sama kan, kalau dia jarak-jarak kan kita panggil low frequency. If a signal does not change at all, ada satu lagi dipanggil zero, frequency zero. If a signal change instantaneously, this frequency is infinite. Sampai tak nampak kan, laju sangat kan. Alright, so kita zoom tak jumpa adalah frequency is infinite. Nampak macam garisan je, tapi sebenarnya dia adalah frekuensi. Okay, untuk measurement, frequency measurement, guna Hertz tadilah. Kan, Rudolf Hertz. Okay, German scientist. German physics. So RF signal cycle in alternating current in the form of an electromagnetic wave. Frequency is the number of time a specified event occurs within a specific time interval. A standard measurement of frequency is Hertz, HZ, Z kecil, H besar, which was named after the German physicist Heinrich Rudolf Hertz. An event that occurred once in 1 second has a frequency of 1 Hertz. Kalau time dia sama dengan 1 second, dia baru complete satu cycle, itu kita panggil dia 1 Hertz. Kalau dalam 1 second, dia completekan 1000 cycle, kita panggil dia 1 kilohertz. Kan? Kalau dalam 1 second dia boleh complete 1 juta, 1 million cycle. Yang ni semua dia ada sampai 1 juta tapi dia time dia 1 second saja. 1 saat saja. Kita panggil dia 1 megahertz. Okay. Kalau dia daripada planet lain kita panggil dia megatron lah. Ni panggil megahertz. Okay, kalau dia 1 billion cycle dalam 1 second. 1 gigahertz. Lepas billion apa? Trillion. Pernah. Sebelum ni kita pernah dengar billion saja kan. Duit hilang billion tapi bila kerajaan baru naik dengan trillion pula kan. Lepas billion, trillion lagi dahsyat. Kalau ada 1 trillion dalam 1 second, kita panggil dia terahertz. Terahertz. Tera lah kan. Okay. So kalau kata 325 time in 1 second, measure is 325 Hz lah. Ini senang je. Buat lama. 325 gigahertz kan. 325 billion kan. Okay. Ada kat sini. Ada kat sini rupanya. The frequency at which electromagnetic wave cycle is also measured in Hertz. Different prefix can be applied to the Hertz measurement of radio frequency to make working with very large frequency easier. Okay, kenapa kita ada kilohertz, megahertz, gigahertz untuk working easier lah kan. Senang nak faham kan. Okay, satu lagi terahertz kan. Masuk THZ. Trillion, kita pernah dengar nama trillion. Lepas trillion, pernah dengar? Dia ada macam-macam. Ada.
Polien.
Apa lian? Minion.
Polien.
Polien. Ya ke? Saya pernah belajar dulu ada sampai septillion, octillion, macam September, Oktober kan. Novillion, decillion, undecillion kan. Sextillion pun ada kan. Pernah dengar? Boleh Google lah tengok yang mana besar. Next. Amplitude pula. Frekuensi amplitude. Amplitude can be defined as the maximum displacement of the continuous wave. With a RF signal, the amplitude corresponds to the electrical field of the wave. When you look at the RF signals using the oscilloscope, the amplitude is represented by the positive crest and negative true value of the sine wave. Okay, amplitude ni ketinggian dia lah kan, A ni. So lagi tinggi lagi strong. Kalau lagi rendah adalah less. Kalau kita pakai volume senang tengok kan, volume audio kita kan. Lagi tinggi, amplitude dia lagi tinggi lah. Kan kita ada amplifier kan, nama pun dekat sama-sama, amplitude amplifier kan. Kita nak kuatkan dia punya macam volume kan. Okay, so lambda ni tadi apa? Wavelength kan. Ingat, dia dah tukar daripada wavelength kepada simbol lambda. Yang tanda Y terbalik ni kan. Alright. So untuk amplitude huruf A. Okay. So the first signal crest and through have more meter, those the signal has more amplitude. The second signal crest bawah ni and to have decreased magnitude and therefore the signal has less amplitude ni. Okay, how to transmit or receive amplitude? So when discussing signal strength in a wireless LAN, amplitude is usually referred to as either transmit amplitude or receive amplitude. So transmit amplitude is typically defined as the amount of initial amplitude that leaves the radio transmitter. For example, if you configure an access you configure an AP access point to transmit at 50 milliwatts. Okay, that is the transmit amplitude. Cables and connector will attenuate the transmit amplitude while most antenna will amplify the transmit amplitude. When a radio receives an RF signal, the received signal strength is most often referred to as a received amplitude. RF signal strength measurement taken during a site survey is an example of received amplitude. Different types of RF technology required varying degrees of transmit amplitude. AM radio, sekejap lah. Tekan, sorry. Okay. When radio receive RF signal, the received signal strength is most often referred to as received amplitude. RF signal strength measurement taken during a site survey is an example of received amplitude. Different type of RF technology require varying degrees of transmit amplitude. So AM radio station, dulu ada AM, sekarang kita pakai FM radio kan? Kan hot FM kan? FM kan nama FM, Sinar FM, Era FM, Era pakai nama FM kan? Tapi semua tu pakai FM. Tapi sebelum tu kita ada AM radio kan? AM radio station may transmit narrow band signal with as much power as 40k watts. Okay, kilowatt. 40 kilowatts. The radio used in most indoor 802.11 access point. Ini standard untuk wireless ah. Okay, untuk access point kita have a transmit power range between 1 megawatt milliwatt and 100 milliwatt. Mega. M besar pun mega kan. Kilo. Mega. M besar pun mega. Ini mili. Kecil lah. Okay. AM pakai tinggi kan. 40k watts kan. Kilo besar K. Kilo, ribu. Mili negatif. Ribu. 1/1000 watt. 1/1000 watt. Kan. Ni 10/3 juga. 10/-3. Boleh. Ni 10/3. 50 kali 10/3 watt. 1 kali 10⁻⁻3. Dia terbalik. Dia paling dah lah double lagi kan. Okay. Dia punya 2 kali ganda kecil kan. Okay. Kan kali ganda kali 50 kan. Ganda-ganda punya kecil. Wi-Fi radio can receive signal with amplitude as low as billions of a milliwatt. M for milli. Saya kadang confuse. M mega ke milli? Ke micro? Micro huruf U kecil tu kan micro. M untuk milli. Kalau mega M besar. Giga mesti G besar. Tera T besar kan. Kilo K kena besar kilo. K kecil jadi kati ya kan. K kecil kati. Tak kilo kena K besar. Kati tu saya tipu je. Dah tak pakai kati kan. Okay, yang ketiga pula. The third one for frequency is wavelength. Ya, lambda tadi kan. Wavelength is the distance between the two successive crest peak or two successive true valley of a wave pattern. A wavelength is the distance that a single cycle of RF signal actually travel. Okay, one cycle sajalah ataupun single cycle. So the Greek symbol Y terbalik tu ataupun lambda, okay, represent wavelength. Kalau yang lain-lain untuk frekuensi huruf F. Kalau speed of light C, kan? So contohlah kan, this is derived from Soletras, the Latin word meaning speed. Kan math punya bahasa kan, math and physics. Kan? Terus ada equation math kan. Lambda sama dengan C bahagi F. Speed of light bahagi dengan frekuensi. Ataupun F sama dengan speed of light bahagi lambda. Okey. 300,000 juta millisecond. Milli per second. The speed of light. Kalau meter, kilometer lain kan. Ada milli. Okay, three components of this inverse relationship are frequency. So F, okay, measure in hertz. Wavelength, measure in meters. Okay. M. Bukan milli, M tu meter. Saya salah lah. Tapi kalau ada yang belakang dia, jadi milli. So maksudnya kalau millimeters, dia kena tulis mm. Kan? Kalau kilometers, km takkan tulis kena huruf besar. Tulislah huruf besar. km besar, kilometer. Kan? Buat macam mana? Kalau tak confuse tadi. Kan? Okay, so equation tu tadi. Lambda equal to speed of light or C divide frequency. Okay, divide frequency. Ataupun frequency sama dengan speed of light divide wavelength ataupun lambda. A simplified expression is the higher the frequency of an RF signal, the smaller the wavelength of the signal. Ni dia punya kadar dia lah. Kan higher frequency of the RF signal, smaller the wavelength of the signal. Kalau larger wavelength signal, okay, larger wavelength RF signal, so terbalik dia akan jadi lower frequency of that signal. Okay, faham? So AM radio station operate at much lower frequency than WLAN 2.11 radio, while satellite radio transmission occur at much higher frequency than WLAN radio. Contoh. Alright, so kita pernah dengar nama 2.5, 2.4 GHz untuk wireless AP kan. Pakai 2.4 ke pakai 5 GHz. 5G bukan 5 GHz bukan 5G ya. Ada selalu confuse ni. 5 dia ada sebenarnya 5.775 GHz. Okay, 2.4 sebenarnya 2.45 GHz wavelength. So yang kita pakai untuk WLAN. So the majority of wireless LAN radio operate in either 2.4 GHz frequency range or the 5 GHz range. Range. Okay, so ni kita boleh measure dalam 4.82 inches. Ataupun tukar kepada meters 12.24 cm. So akan dapat 2.45 GHz. Kalau higher frekuensi lagi 5 GHz, kita tukar dalam 5 cm, 5.19 cm ataupun lebih kurang 2 inci. Lagi kecil, so maksudnya higher frekuensi. Lagi pendek, lagi kecil tu pendek. Okay, wavelength and coverage distance, high frequency signal will generally attenuate faster than lower frequency signal as they pass two various physical mediums such as brick walls. Okay, this is important for a wireless engineer to know for two reasons. First, the coverage distance is dependent on the attenuation through the air, so referred to as free space path loss, discussed later in the chapter. Second, the higher the frequency, typically the less the signal will penetrate through obstruction. So for example, a 2.4 GHz signal will pass through walls, windows ataupun door with a greater amplitude than a 5 GHz signal. Okay, katakanlah kamu nak pakai 5 ke 4, yang mana yang okey? Ada amplitude 2.4 lah kan, daripada yang GHz tinggi. Walaupun dia tinggi, tapi untuk dia nak pass through wall, windows and door with greater amplitude tu kurang sikit daripada 2.4. Clear? 1, 2, 3 tadi frekuensi, amplitude, wavelength. Yang keempat adalah phase. Phase ni kalau kita ambil daripada tengah-tengah, dia nak start, kemudian dia akan ada shift. Ini dia tukar corak. Dia boleh tukar punya corak sine wave ni, kan? So phase is not a property of just one RF signal, but instead involve the relationship between two or more signals that share the same frequency. The phase involves the relationship between the position of the amplitude crest and through of two waveforms. Phase can be measured in distant degrees, and the peak of two signals with the same frequency are in as an alignment at the same time. They are said to be in phase. Conversely, if the peak of two signals with the same frequency are not in as an alignment at the same time, they are said to be out of phase. So tengok, in phase macam ni, out of phase dia lari kan. Kalau completely out of phase, lagi terbalik terus, terbalik kurang, kan? So kalau kita boleh tengok dia punya based on degree, kita boleh tengok berapa banyak dia boleh shift, kan? Right, so untuk phase shift 90 degrees, A is ahead of V ataupun A leads B. Kalau shift terbalik 90 degrees, B pula yang ahead A, so B yang leads A. Okay, kalau dia terbalik 180 degrees, so A and B waveform are mirror images of each other. Kan? Phase shift tak ada apa-apa, kosong. A and B waveform are perfect, sama sebiji. Okay, so kita tengok macam mana boleh terjadinya degree of phase ni. Okay, kalau dia sebiji sama in phase signal. Signal means signal macam ni. Dia sebenarnya kita nak tengok apa lah. Signal ni sentiasa ada main signal. Kalau kata nama apa tu? Channel kita kan ada frekuensi kan, tengah bergerak kan, macam ni. Kalau dia in phase signal sama kan. Kalau dilari sikit tak sama, dia akan tekan kira. Kalau dia lari sini, kenjak ke sini, kita panggil dia 90 degree. Sebenarnya 90 darjah ni kita senang tengok. Ini ke sini adalah 90 darjah. Kalau 180 degrees, dia lari setengah cycle. Setengah cycle. Kalau lari satu terbalik kurang tadi kan, degree kan, 360 degree, 360 darjah. Dia terbalik kurang, jadi macam mirror kan. Completely out of phase. Phase separation, what is important to understand is the effect that phase has on amplitude when a radio receives multiple signals. So signal that have 0 degree phase separation actually combine the amplitude, which result in a received signal of much greater signal strength, potentially as much as twice the amplitude. So if two RF signals are 180 degrees out of phase, the peak of one signal is in exact alignment with the true of the second signal ataupun mirror image, they cancel each other out and the effective received signal strength is null. So phase separation has a cumulative effect. Depending on amount of phase separation of two signals, the received signal strength may be either increased or diminished. The phase difference between two signals is very important to understand the effect of RF phenomenon known as multipath. Bukan multiverse bukan multiverse maniac bukan. Kan? Bukan quantum mania ke apa, bukan. Ini multipath. Tak ada terlibat dengan science fiction, tak ada. Okay, so habis 3 pula dah. 2.2. So kita akan masuk 2.3. Baik. Sempat ni. 2.3. Signal and propagation. First kita tengok signal dulu. Frequency is the relationship of the signal to time, and the frequency of wave is the number of cycles it completes in 1 second. Electromagnetic signal are oscillating waveform. There is the fluctuate continuously and predictably above and below a mean energy level. So time sama dengan A sin 2 pi feet plus O ni apa? Alah, nama apa ni? Theta kan? Theta. Okay, signal and propagation in wireless network. The signal has no wire to determine the direction propagation, whereas signal in wired networks only travel along the wire. Signal propagation is the movement of radio wave from a transmitter to a receiver. Wireless transmission propagate in 3 modes: ground wave propagation, sky wave propagation, and line of sight propagation. Ada 3 mode. So ground wave propagation follow the contour of the earth. So sky wave propagation use reflection by both earth and ionosphere. So line of sight propagation require the transmitting and receiving antenna to be within the line of sight of each other. Depending upon the frequency of the underlying signal, the particular mode of propagation is followed. So ground waves, ada gambar senang sikit tengok kan. Ground wave propagation follow the contour of the earth. Contoh dia buat bumi ni bulat kan, tapi tak adalah macam ni kan. Dia punya bulat tu tak nampak sangat bulat kan. Ini dah mana kalau ini kalau betul di scale earth ni besar gila kan. Tower antena dia kan. Kan? Dia nak tunjuk kata sebenarnya walaupun transmission tu berlaku macam direct, sebenarnya dia adalah dalam bentuk graviti juga, dalam bentuk atmosfera kan. Patutnya buat je lah direct, tak payahlah buat sedikit bulat macam ni kan. Buat terus panjang pun boleh. Kita faham lah kan daripada antena tu antena. So daripada ground wave propagation. The ground wave of surface wave is guided along the surface on the earth. Guided tadi wired kan. Ground wave propagation below 2 MHz. Okay, ionosphere kita pakai sky wave propagation. Okay, sebab dia akan dia hantar ke atas, tapi sebenarnya dia tidak pergi keluar daripada kita punya atmosfer kita. Atmosfera. Kan? Lagu atmosfera, lagu apa? Ingatlah. Asyiteru ke? Atmosfera tu. Itu lagu je punah kan. Okay. So kalau terkeluar kita panggil penetrate wave. Kalau dipatah balik kita panggil reflect kan. Okay. Kita panggil reflect. Kita panggil sky wave. Sky wave propagation. Ya, kalau ke atas juga tapi dia tidak pergi ke ke nama apa tu? Satellite kan. Okay. Beza sikit kan. Direct. Kenapa dia tak nak buat macam tadi? Rupanya dia ada term dia panggil line of sight propagation require the transmitting and receiving antenna to be within the line of sight of each other ataupun loss kan, line of sight. Rupanya ada jawapan dia kenapa kita dia buat juga bentuk spera kan, dia ikut keliling bumi. Rupanya kalau direct dia bagi signal propagation line of sight. Okay, so untuk speed pula. Propagation speed. The propagation speed of electromagnetic signal depends on the medium and on the frequency of the signal. For example, in a vacuum, light is propagated with a speed of 3 times 806 meter per second. Kan? So we can measure the distance of signal travel. Bukan ni. Allah, meter bukan 1008. Ni 1008 bukan 108 meter per second. 1008. 1008. 10 3 kilometer. 10 10 berapa? 10 Masa ni lah nak sembang pun kan. Kelas-kelas kan. Sabar tu. Dah habis lah 5 minit ni. 10 lepas kilo, mega kan. Tapi kita tak panggil pun mega meter kan. Pelik lah. Kan. Kilo, mega, giga tak ada. Tak panggil. Kan. Okay. Kalau pen kita panggil kilometriko kan. Ini kilometer ni 10 kuasa 8 ni. Yang lebih sikit daripada 10 kuasa 6. Kalau 10 kuasa 9 senang. Kita tahu giga kan. Ataupun billion kan. Ni dalam 100 ribu. 100 juta lah. 100 juta. 10 kuasa 3 1000. 10 kuasa 6 juta. 10 kuasa 8 100 juta. 10 kuasa 9 1 bilion. Ni betul kan lah? Saya boleh betulkan? Saya pun boleh betulkan. Mana? Salah. Mana sini tak ada. Superscript kan? Nyebut dah. Save. Kalau baca slide je tak faham kan. Kenapa 3 kali 108? Kali je lah 300. 8 kali 3, 24. 3 kali 3 kan. We can measure the distance a signal travel through a medium in 1 second. Propagation time equal to distance propagation speed. The time required for signal to travel from one point of the transmission medium to another is propagation time. So tak sempat lah kita. Wave propagation, electromagnetic wave can move through a perfect vacuum or pass through material of different mediums. The way in which the RF wave move, known as the wave propagation, can vary drastically depending on the material in the signal pass. For example, drywall we have a much different effect on RF signal than metal or concrete. What happened to an RF signal between two locations is a direct result of how the signal propagates. So when we use the term propagate, try to invention of RF signal bending or spreading as it travel farther away from the antenna. So as a WLAN engineer, you should understand RF propagation behavior for making sure that Access points are deployed in the proper location for making sure the proper type of antenna is chosen and for monitoring the performance of wireless network.